Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 50 of Two Amazon Sellers in a Microphone. I'm Dustin Kane, and with me, as always, Kris Gramlich. What's up, Kris?
Not much. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's 2021, man.
We made it. We made it. We made it to the end of the line. 2021.
We survived, man. We'll spend a little time talking about 2020 because we learned a lot of things in 2020. That's going to help us move forward here in 2021. But yeah, it is. There's snow on the ground here in Kansas City. The Chiefs are the number one seed going into the playoffs. It's a good time right now.
Yeah. Speaking of snow, I went out there and shoveled, threw my back out. I went to the chiropractor today. First time I've ever been to a chiropractor. Never been before. I always thought it was a hoax. But the guy he put me back in line. I can walk now. So yeah, it was terrible. So I'm in the market for a snowblower, even though it probably won't snow again. But I'm never going to shovel manually ever again.
Is that your new product you're going to launch?
Yes, giant ass snowblowers.
That's right. Oh man. Oh well, that'll be fun to talk today because today's episode. Kris and I just want to talk a little bit about some of the things that we've learned through 2020, and also our goals and projects that we're planning on working on for 2021. I think we say this a lot when we talk, but this business changes constantly, and you got to constantly be standing your toes. I mean, with Solozo, just in the advertising world, there's new advertising options that Amazon rolls out all the time. They're rolling out some new ones still, and changing the way sometimes they show their metrics, and competition ebbs and flows. You just got to stay on your toes with this business, and that's what makes it fun. So we'll definitely talk about some of the things that we're looking at for our personal businesses in 2021, based on some of the things that we've learned for 2020.
Yeah, we saw a bunch happen in 2020. A bunch of new ad things came out, new ad types, different targeting types. I would imagine more, but Amazon rolled out a ton of stuff for advertising in 2020, and it seems like they're still pushing that. So I'm excited. Should be some cool stuff.
Oh yeah. I'll go ahead and start with one thing that it's bittersweet, but for me in 2020, I officially ended every product that I started my business with that made my Amazon business what it was, which was the right decision for sure, but painful.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the hardest things. Just a little context for my main product. When I know we've talked about this before, you and I both started around the same time, 2014, 2013, that time. My first product that I launched to date from when I started has sold well over $1 million in revenue, which is mind-blowing to think of. And it's also mind-blowing to think of that I just let that die. I mean, last couple months, I've sold out my last remaining inventory, and it was just the right move. And then that product, I guess I can talk about the reasons why, and it might be a good tale just to talk about why it actually cost me. I should have done that probably in 2019. And I lost money. I lost the ability. I had capital held up in a product that's margins were slipping. Competition was too much, and it was just too hard to compete. And my capital was tied up in there. So that's why I'm letting it sort of die. And we can talk about maybe somehow to revive it later. But essentially, that when I started selling that product, I was selling it for almost $20 a unit. It's in the fitness category. It's fairly commoditized. Now, today, I'm out now, but I was selling at the end. I was selling it for $7.99. Mine was a 3-pack. There was other people out there that were selling 5 and 6 packs for the same price, $7.99. No matter what I was doing, advertising, trying to stay up, I just couldn't make the margins work. And but it was hard to let go of that. I mean, I quit my job in 2017 because of that one product, and it's hard to let go. But that's going to free me up to really do these things I'm looking forward to in the future.
Yeah, it's hard to do that. Like we were talking earlier before this. I have like 50 units left of my first product that I launched, and I'm excited to let it go. I'm ready to move on from that. I mean, it had a lot. It got me into this business, but you put a lot of effort into these, right? Like you're always trying to make your listing better. You're always trying to make your PPC better. You're trying to make your images better. You're trying to get more reviews. And no matter how much you try, the competition still comes in, and you're getting killed on pricing, and then your ranking gets lower, and you try to give away more units, but that doesn't stick. So you don't know what. It's just a constant battle. So it's one of those things where you've done all you can for it, right? Like you've put as far as you can, and I think you and I both have probably learned valuable lessons that now when we go pick new products, price is going to be a big factor. Like we're going to play around with cheap price anymore, or cheap cost item. We're going to know how to launch a product correctly. We're going to know how to get good images. Whereas when we first started, it was kind of like fly by the seat of your pants, right? Like you're just kind of going and hoping it all works out.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. But that fly by the seat of your pants is what I love about this. I mean, that's essentially what we're doing now when we're testing new stuff out, is just we're going out there and we're seeing what sticks. I mean, we've had a lot of success, and we can parlay that knowledge into other things. But for me, it's difficult to give up. I mean, you're talking about a listing that's got thousands of reviews. In my case, you just feel like you could do something. You could make it work. But if I can scroll about 40 to 50 pages on Amazon and see the exact same product as mine. And I've got thousands of reviews, but some of the others top sellers have 25, 30,000 reviews. And it's just, and I'm, my profit margin squeezed to less than $1 a unit. So I just made the decision, why do I want to be tied up in this? I can apply that to something else and be more effective. So that's where I am now. That was it. So there's a lot of things were sad in 2020, and letting a few, and that wasn't the only listing I let die. I've let 4 or 5 others that have been solid products for me for a long time, but they're just in that same category. And it is time to go by.
Move on. Yeah, time to move on.
It's all like right, decluttering a house. It's like that.
Yeah, like move on and get rid of that stuff and start fresh. And that's what I can't wait for. Is like when the last unit's out of here, I'm like, okay, that's done with. Let's move on to the next one. And now I know, like, if I'm not gonna hit the goal that I need to get it at with, say, 15, 20 units a day, if I don't get it to that amount within 2 or 3 months, maybe it's time to move on and get rid of it now rather than drag this on and try to put so much money into it. So I think we both learned our lesson there. So what would be what's your goal now for 2021? Now that product's gone in 2020, now that we're in 2021, what are some things you are more focused on?
Yeah, well, number one, I'm going to take some of my other products that I have that I'm not trying to let die, and see if I can improve those with tactics we've been talking about since we started this podcast, better listings, etc. I'm also experimenting with different ways to launch new products much cheaper with much lower budgets, so that I maybe play in my right now, try to launch multiple products that don't cost as much to launch. That could be equivalent to spending all of that on one launch. That can be risky. That's the one thing I've definitely learned so far is, I mean, for a lot, if all of your eggs are in 1 or 2 baskets and those baskets fall apart, you're in big trouble.
Those eggs hatch.
Yeah, you're in big trouble. But I'm also, and I'll talk about some of the a little story about a project that I've been working on right now and launching. It's been interesting to see. But also I'm looking a lot into wholesale. I think you and I have just talked to a lot of people that are in the wholesale. It wasn't on my radar. I knew it existed, but I felt like the big bucks were in private label. And, I'm not so sure that doing both isn't the right idea.
Yeah. And I've talked to you about it before, trying to add wholesaling to my offering, do private label and wholesaling. I think a lot of people do that. I think a lot of sellers especially private labelers are like, hey, I want to do private label, but what's this wholesaling thing all about? in the background. I think it also goes back the other way. I've talked to wholesalers that are more like, what's private label all about?
Sure.
And I actually think wholesaling, it gives you more of an advantage because you're selling items that are already selling, and you already know if something's going to sell. Like you're already selling something really well. Let's just say cotton swabs, just bad example, but let's just say you've already been selling that, so you already know the market. You've already seen how many you have to order. You can take that knowledge, like I'll go make my own brand of cotton swabs or something that are different. So I think wholesaling gives you that advantage where you could test out a lot of products, relatively cheap maybe. I mean, you may have to have some minimum order quantities, but you're going to get a lot of like market knowledge, and then you can go launch products without doing it like blindly. Like I know you're going to do product research, but you're going to get validation with the wholesale market.
100%. And I think that there's a lot of crossovers, just like you said. Number one, they're going to fund each other. I mean, if you have some wholesale products that are doing really well, you can take that capital and launch private label products, and vice versa. It's going to help diversify your portfolio for sure. I mean, there's only so many private label products you can launch at a time, and typically you're stuck into a brand. So if it's seasonal or anything like that, you've got downtime where you could, wholesale can make up for that. I think wholesale will be easier to get in and out of products much faster.
Yeah.
Then a lot of wholesale will be domestic sourcing. We're in the US, so that can cut back a lot of that. But there is a totally different advertising strategy involved. There's repricing to get involved. So I just think it's going to help and be fun to really explore that. And right now, the way that I'm looking at getting in wholesale is we've talked about these guys before. They came under our radar. It's a company called Source of Goods. So I am now signed up with Source of Goods, and this I'll be reporting on this because I don't want to say that they're amazing. I don't know yet. We'll find out. But what's attractive about this is you only pay for the products once they sell, and they actually fulfill all the orders within Amazon's like seller fulfilled prime criteria. So it's really I'll be able to list products essentially risk-free. If they sell, everything gets fulfilled. And so the way it sounds good, and I'll be able to take advantage of their 3 million plus products that they have.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see this.
Yeah, this was the first. There's a lot of different wholesale models out there. There's like wholesale clubs you can get involved in where there's upfront fees. There's basically drop shipping wholesale, which is a little risky, especially if you're drop shipping from another retailer. Like where it's almost online arbitrage. There's wholesale where you're buying the inventory in bulk and then reselling it. So for me right now, I feel like this is a good way to get involved in the wholesale with this sort of less upfront capital risk, and I can just explore different products and also be able to use it for product research. I mean, because this is the other thing that I'm trying to do right now, at the same time I'm doing wholesale, is to find ultra niche products. Like we talk about niche, and we've talked about, in the past where we're looking for, a certain amount of search volume, et cetera. I'm kind of going further than that. Like, does something make maybe one sale a day? And is there limited competition? And can I find a supplier who I can just quickly get inventory in? Because there's so many things happening now on Amazon. And I know I talked about this before, but I needed a part for my dryer. And it was the tiniest little piece of like plastic with metal in it. And it was like $14. And there's no way that costs much. And it's ultra niche, and people look for it. And people that sell this stuff have never attempted to make a good listing or any of the stuff that we know how to do. So maybe 100 ultra niche products like that, which I can talk about this one I just did here in a second. After we talk about some of your goals. But I really think that a combination of that, experimented with unique PPC product launches with ultra niche products, as well as really going after this wholesale and seeing what that can do is going to be really exciting for 2021. And especially because another reason why wholesale is so exciting is because our favorite campaign to tell anybody about is a catch-all campaign, a low bid catch-all campaign. And that is exactly what I'm going to do with hundreds and hundreds of wholesale products, is throw them all into a low bid catch-all campaign, because we've never seen those campaigns not work.
Yeah.
And I just need to have enough products to put into a low bid catch-all campaign. So the wholesale is exciting in that regard.
Yeah, wholesale's fun. I did, look into it briefly, and what I always come up against is the roadblock is I'll contact these brands and like, hey, let's do it, and like, they got good stuff, and I'm ready to buy, but then they want your warehouse. Like, where's your warehouse located at? Or I'm like, oh, it's a residential. Oh, we don't ship to residentials. Like, okay, no way I can order the product. Like, I'm ready to buy, a couple grand worth at least. And we don't ship to residential. We only ship to warehouses. And it's like, all right. So that's the biggest thing I haven't, been able to conquer. And we do have some people local that I want to talk to. I know we mentioned it before, but they've ran into that same problem. And I'm curious to see what they did, because I know they have a warehouse now, but I want to know what they did before that. Did they just move on to another brand and just focus on other brands that would allow residential deliveries? And then once they scaled up to be able to buy a warehouse, contact those guys again and then get the products in? I'm not sure. So that's the biggest, kind of a roadblock I've got, was they don't want to ship to residentials.
Sure. Well, that's why I think this source of goods, at least from what I've been looking at, looks interesting, because it avoids that. I mean, they are going to, you're not committed until you've already made the sale. And it seems like if what they say about their shipping times and actually taking the order fulfillment straight from Amazon and re-uploading tracking and all that stuff, if all that works as smoothly as it looks like it might, then I think it's just going to be a matter of me finding the products that they have that there's actual margin on that I can list and make it. So it's going to be fun. I'm excited for the challenge. I mean, I think that's another thing you and I talk about. You and I don't shy away from just saying yes and doing something.
Yeah. Well, this site you're talking about, source of goods, I hope it, I mean, if their results look as good as their website does, then you might be onto something. Like, they have a really nice website. It's not just Amazon; they do eBay too.
Right, your own website. I mean, if you have a Shopify, you can do it as well. So there's lots of products you can start selling throughout all different platforms. But I think this is going to be a good way for me to get my feet wet in the wholesale market, see what it's like. See what it's like managing that many listings. That could be a challenge. I'll figure that out as I go. But yeah, that's a big goal for me is that. So how about you, Kris? What do you got going on for 2021? What's the goal for you?
Yeah. I'm keeping mine are pretty basic. I want to get to 100K a month in revenue by March Madness championship game. That's my goal. So what people don't know, that's the end of March. So by the end of March, first week of April, I want to hit 100K in revenue. The way I'm going to do that is I've got 3 products in the pipeline now. Just waiting for them to arrive. Listings are ready. Images are ready. I just got to get them on there. That should help. I launched 10 new products last year. It's really one product with 10 variations, but sold out of those really quick. So that's going to be another one that's going to help me out, I think, get to that 100K a month. But that would be nice. I would like to. I've always gotten close. Like, you get like the 80, 85, 90, like I'm almost there. And it would just be a milestone for me. So I'd like to get that. And then another one is social media. I want to hire a social media manager. I want to hire somebody who can manage all the social media accounts, Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, grow my mini chat list, grow my following on both those channels, Facebook and Instagram, use Pinterest, blog post, drive traffic to the website, all that kind of stuff. That's like the 2 biggest ones. I plan on using Amazon Live. I think Amazon Live is going to be a big focus for, not only for Amazon, but for sellers in 2021.
Mhm.
I think Amazon Live is going to be nice. People are going to be able to see your product. So I'm going to play around with Amazon Live. I know we talked about it on a few podcasts, but I'm also going to try and play with Amazon Live. But yeah, mine are going to be just revenue based, get to 100K a month. That'd be great. And then social media. I think with those two, hopefully that would happen. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's exciting. I mean, that's really where when you start doing the social media and driving traffic to your website and just branding, that's where it can make a really big impact on your ability to. That's where you're getting all of your customers to follow you off of Amazon, so that those are the people that you can launch new products constantly to. So yeah, I think that's great. That's another thing that I think with some of these products that have died, I have those assets in place. I have all the big social media following. I have the traffic to the website, the brand awareness, and so finding new products in there, just like you're talking about, allows you to do better launches on different products in those brands. But that's exciting because that's a lot of work. You have to bring somebody on.
It's super hard. And we're all good at making PPC campaigns, get listings created. We can do all that, but it's that social media, you got to stay on it. It's not like it was 4 or 5 years ago where you can post once a week or post once a day. You got to be able to be really interactive. You got to try to grow your audience. So that, I don't have time to do that anymore. It went by me. Back a few years ago, I could do that, post every now and then, but it's thrown by me. So I need to hire somebody better. And then I can launch products to those people and then try to get to that 100K. So they kind of go hand in hand.
Oh,
so we'll see. For
sure. Yeah. There's no question about it that social media, you don't treat it the same way you did before. Where you would have a meme a day go out with your logo on it, or some uplifting quote, about whatever your brand is, and then they just keep going out. Nobody looks at that. What they want is they want to comment, and they want to see you comment right back. And so if you have people helping you out with that, you can do that. And I have a team of virtual assistants that does that for influencers, finding influencers and how you can read, because that's the same thing. It's contacting. It takes a lot of reaching out and effort to do that. Yeah, but
we'll see.
Yeah.
So if you're listening out there and you have a social media manager that you would recommend, feel free to let us know. You can always drop us an email or check us out on slozo.com and send us some contact or whatever. But Dustin and I are pretty easy to get a hold of. Or if you do wholesaling now, we would love to have you on. I think we would both love to have you on as an interview and learn a bit more about wholesaling. We obviously know the concept of it, but there's still things that we're not really sure about. So, if you do wholesaling out there and you're comfortable being on camera and chatting about it, reach out to us. We'd love to have you on.
Absolutely. All right. One last thing we'll talk about in the vein of talking about how I was going to look for really niche products and launch them. I have one that I've launched a little bit before Christmas. And just for anybody out there who is really would like to get into Amazon, but they feel like you definitely have to have thousands and thousands of dollars up front. I did this as a test to try to prove that wrong. And so far, it seems no one's going to quit their job with this product. But if this is, you can get in and you can start driving money. Just a little background on this. I did some research with some different product research tools to try to find super, just not low traffic, but the opportunity was there. They were making a few sales. There was just a few competitors. Nobody really had any good reviews and nobody really had great images, but people were buying them, at least a few a day. That was sort of what I was looking for. Found this product. It's sort of in a hobby, crafty type niche. It fit the criteria. I was like, everyone's picture looked the same. It looked like the standard Alibaba image. Like they didn't even try. Like it was just that. I looked them up on Alibaba. There was profit margin to be made. I was able to buy them for about $2 a piece. They were shipped. They were about $3 a piece. So I said, well, let me buy 30 of them. So I bought 30 of them straight from Alibaba. Didn't even talk to the supplier. It was through their little checkout deal. So I wasn't even sure what I was going to get. So it was $90 in, got 30 of them, made my listing. Of course, that's where I feel like I'm able to make really good listings. And then interestingly, my son has been working with Photoshop. So we had a guest on not too long ago who was talking about 3D rendering onto the images. And I told my son, I was challenging him, I'm like, can you do some 3D images on this? And sure enough, he did. So I was able to get images made for free. Well, I paid my son something.
He has a roof over his head. That's what he has.
He had a roof over his head. But everything is different about this product. It's the exact same product, but everything looks different. It's super high quality photos, did all the keyword testing. And then I launched it super high priced. So most of them were in like the $12 range. I launched it at about 20, and I put a $10 off coupon. So I was experimenting with what like a crazy discount would be. So I made it look premium. It is really good quality. And then I put a really attractive coupon on it. And I launched PPC for 2 keywords. That's it. The 2 main keywords, exact matches. I did it through Solozo, put my target ACoS at like 200%, just so I could show up top of that. Interestingly, I'm looking inside Solozo right now at our product view, which is great because it breaks down all the data. So I don't have to do all these calculations. It's breaking out the PPC spend. It's breaking out everything else on it. And each unit right now, including the $10 off coupon and everything else, I'm a little over breaking even on every unit that sells, and it's ranked top 10 for my main keywords. And so it's rolling. We'll see what happens. I mean, I've got also, the other thing is I've got 2 5-star reviews.
Yeah.
I find phenomenal because I've only sold like 15 or so, which is a great ratio. But that goes to the fact that if you use that request review button, I really feel like that works so much better than anything else.
I do too. And I haven't mentioned it yet. Over the holiday, I got suspended for email notification. So Amazon sent me an email saying your email notification is going to be suspended for 30 days. Okay, no problem. I immediately pivoted and went to the request review button, and I've gotten way more reviews than I've ever gotten through an email. Now I don't get to control the message. I don't get to add like a personal brand message, but nope. I'm gaining more reviews than I was getting from my follow-up sequence. Yep. So I'm going to turn that off because I don't want to deal with that anymore. I'm just going to solely just do the request review button because it's easy. It's just a star. And we've talked about it. You and I've talked about it, where it's just they click a button and then just rates it, and that counts as a review. Or they can rate it and then they can write about it, something. So yeah, I'm done. I think I'm done with the email just because I think that's what Amazon is trying to prevent anyway. They've limited their comments on reviews now. You can't comment on reviews. They're limiting how we contact the customer. So they're obviously trying to stop all that, and might as well just move on.
Yeah, that's sure. And that I love it. I think it's getting a better review rate for me. I'm getting better reviews, a better review rate. I don't look spammy for anybody who's feels like that is what happens when they get an email from somebody. And this is a $98 product launch that has broken even. And if I sell the remaining of them, I'll have enough to order more. And then if that's the way that somebody wants to start, I mean, you could learn how to do images. You can learn how to do this. In worst case scenario, you lose $100. It's not like you're out a ton. And I think that's, I mean,
what I like about it is you just did it, right? You just went on Alibaba and you're like, I'm going to buy 30 units as a test.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this before, like test it out. And that's what you're doing right now. You're testing it out.
Right.
So you're almost at a point where you could either scale it, like I'll get more and be the best seller in this category and sell that product. but you didn't commit to like 1,000 units, right? You just bought 30 and gave it a test. So just let this be a lesson. Like, you can test numerous products over and over. Just keep testing products, buy them on Alibaba, pay the shipping. You're going to pay more per unit, but you're going to save your tail on the back end.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm excited about doing wholesale, because I can launch wholesale products over and over again, assuming the source of goods works. Then I'll be able to do it without investing in inventory, and I will be able to use all that data and be able to find opportunities to launch a private label product right next to it.
Yep.
I mean, it's gonna be really fun. So I'm excited for 2021. I've knocked the dust off of some things that happened in 2020 and prior that you just learn. I mean, anybody who's out there who's selling on Amazon that tells you they haven't made mistakes is crazy, or they haven't ups and downs is crazy. So those are the things that we're working on. We're going to keep you guys posted. We'll definitely keep you guys posted on the wholesale venture. I think there's a lot to learn about wholesale and a lot to investigate and how to best advertise for that, because I think there's a lot of opportunity to advertise wholesale products and do it really successfully. So I think that can be that'll be really fun just to take a look at these other products we'll launch. We'll keep you posted on that. And of course, we're going to be having a ton of guests come on this year. Would this count as episode 1 of season 2?
Right. I think so, right?
We'll call it episode 1 of season 2, even though it is our 50th episode. That's another thing that I've thought 2020 was great. Us starting this podcast, I think it's a little bit outside of our comfort zone, just to, jump out in public and start talking. I think that gives anybody a little bit of a hesitation, but that single-handedly, I think that decision to start this podcast, and we did it just to meet people, learn more about the industry, try to be a resource for those coming on that are new, let people know about Solozo and get real in depth. These tools that are out here, I mean, sometimes it can be scary to get involved with them unless you see them in action all the time. So, that's what we wanted to talk about. But this has been the best experience for me and for the business, just because I've learned a lot of options that are out there and opportunities and people's stories and encouragement, like Mina, the guy, the energy from people. That's what's fun, and that's what I'm excited about carrying over into this new year.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad we did it. Sometimes my stubbornness gets in the way, and I don't want to do something, or I just want to, be to myself. But no, I'm glad we did it. It's been fun, and we're by no means gurus. Like we're not. I hate that word, but we're just kind of documenting our own journey, and then talking to other people who are smarter than us, and trying to get the word out about Solozo. We both use it, and it's been great. And we're just trying to keep it moving.
Exactly. Well, if you guys are watching us live on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, wherever, there is a link where you can book a time with either Kris or myself. We'd love to show you around Solozo, show you how we can help you automate and optimize your ads on Amazon. It's a really powerful tool. There's a lot of reporting features. That's how I was able to give you my numbers on my product real quick, calculating in all the coupons and discounts and promotions and ad spend and cost of goods sold, and be able to tell you exactly what my profit margin is with one glance. That's because of Solozo. So we'd love to talk to you guys about that. You can book a time with us in that link. If you're on the podcast listening right now, just go to solozo.com and you can request a demo, and that will be with either Kris or myself. So anyway, we'd love to have you on a call and learn more about your business and just chat. We obviously love chatting about Amazon. And we are excited about 2021. It's going to be a great year. The Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. And we are going to have a lot of new experiences in the Amazon world. So everybody, we'll see you probably tomorrow for our next episode. And everyone out there, have a great day. See ya.
Later.